Welcome to today's class, dear students. Today we are going to see the answer scheme for the questions which you have seen for the second internal. So first question given was define structure in C++, give the syntax for definition, declaration and initialization of structure. This was the question. So for that, first you have to write what is a structure in C++. A structure is a collection of related data items, possibly of different types. That is, it is heterogeneous. A structure is heterogeneous, whereas arrays are homogeneous. That is the difference between structure and array. Array consists of same type of elements, but structure consists of different types of elements. And the keyword used to represent the structure is struct. This is the keyword used. Example for structure is student record. That includes the student ID, name, gender. See, all three, they are of different types. One is ID, one is name and one is gender. Next is bank account, account number, name and deposit. In database applications, structures are also known as records. Individual components of a structure type are called members of the fields. Here, members are student STD/ID, that is student ID, name and gender. That are the members or fields. And record means when a single person's details is given in a single row, right? So that row is known as a record. The next is declaration of structure. This is the way how a structure can be declared. That is, struct is a keyword, name of the structure you have to give, and then within that, within the curly brackets, you have to give the different fields which belongs to that particular structure. See this example, struct date. Date is the name of the structure and struct is a keyword. Curly bracket open, int day. That is, date includes day, month and year. So in this, day is of integer type, month integer, year also integer. And then curly bracket close, and at the end you have to specify the semicolon. So that is the syntax of declaration of structure. These three lines you can write in the single line also, int day, comma, month, comma, year. That's also okay. Next is definition of structure. That is, you are defining. You have already declared the structure. Now you have to define the structure. For that, structure name and then object. Name of the structure and object. That is, a person is the name of the structure and P is the object with the help of which the structure can be used. Next is initialization of structure. That is, while in the program itself, directly you are giving the value of the records. So struct name, object. Name of the object you have to write and is equal to, within the curly bracket with comma separation, you have to give all the fields and then semicolon. See, this is the keyword structure, struct, person is the structure name and then P is the object name is equal to, these are the fields. 2, that is a student ID, employee ID. Employee ID, here the details of the employees are given. See, employee ID, employee name, employee age and employee salary. So this is how initialization of structure can be done in C++. So here I have given a sample question which shows the details of structure, and this program also you have to study. C++ program to assign data to members of a structure variable and display it. That is, with the help of the structure, you are displaying, you are entering the name, age and salary of person and then you are displaying it. Hash include iostream.h using namespace std, that we know. Struct, this is the structure. Struct person, this is the name of the structure, person is the name of the structure and within the bracket we have given name, this we know, that is, this is array representation, right? So name of 50, that is up to 50 characters including space you can give for a particular name. Int age and float salary. Int main, see this is the definition. You have declared it. Now you are defining it. Person P1. Person is the name of the structure and P1 is the object. Cout, enter the full name. Get P1.name. That is with the help of the object. P1, you are getting the name, age and salary. That is get P1.name 50. You can write here Cin also. And then Cout, enter age. Cin P1.age, enter salary, Cin P1.salary. Now here you are displaying the output. That is name, full colon, P1.name, end line. End is similar to backslash n. That is we know. Backslash n. That is new line. Right. We are giving in the double quotes. This one we are normally giving in double quotes. So this is the same use of backslash n is end line. Go for the new line. Then Cout age, P1.age, salary, P1.salary, return 0 and close the bracket. So this is the program. This is a sample output. It is accepting the name, age and the salary, and then it is displaying the name, age and the salary. This is how we have done with the help of structure. Next question is, explain how can you pass structure to function in C++. That's the next question. So here is the answer. When an element of a structure is passed to a function, you are actually passing the values of that element to the function. We know what's a function. So with the help of the structure, pass structure to function. We are combining both. So when an element of a structure is passed to a function, you are actually passing the values of that element to the function. Structure is being passed to the function. That means actually the values are being passed to the function. Therefore, it is just like passing a simple variable. For example, consider the following structure, struct date, short day, month and year. We know this. And then this is the object. Here the object has been declared. Here itself we have declared the object. So individual elements of this structure can be passed as follows. Say this func1. This is function 1. bdate.date, bdate.month, bdate.year. So here again one example I have given over here. C++ structure and function. Struct person, character name, age and int age and float salary. Void display data person. That is with the help of the function. Now you are getting the structure. That is, this is the function declaration. Void display data person. Now in the main section, person P is the object. You are getting the name, you are getting the age and the salary, and here you are displaying it with the help of the function. Now the function, display function is given over here. Void display data person P. Person is the structure name and P is the object. Cout displaying the information, name, P.name, age, P.age and salary, P.salary. So this is how with the help of the function you can display the data. Now in this function you have given the displaying details, and this function is being, and the structures. See, this is the structure. Person P. Person is the structure and P is the object. Here we are combining both function and person. The person data are being displayed with the help of the function display data. So this is the output. Now the third question is, what is a file in C++? Explain the different modes for opening a file. We know a file is a storage area. That is, without storing in a file, nothing will be kept in the memory. So to keep anything in a memory, it has to be saved as a file. That is what normally we are doing. So when a program runs, the data is in memory, but when it ends or the computer shuts down, it gets lost. To get data permanently, we need to write it in a file. Files are used to store the data in storage device permanently. File handling provides, you can handle the files, provides a mechanism to store the output of a program in a file and to perform various operations on it. You can write it, you can modify it, you can save it, you can delete it, close it. All these are the types of operations which you can do on a file. In C++, we have a set of file handling methods. These include if stream, that is input file stream, op stream, that is output file stream, f stream combination. So the fstream library allows us to work with files. See this, while writing a file program, Along with this iostream.h, you have to include fstream.h, fstream header file also in the C++ program. C++ files are mainly dealt by using three classes: fstream, ifstream and offstream, that is input, output and combination. C++ provides us with following operations. File handling operations are creating a file, reading a file, writing new data to a file and closing a file. These are the file handling operations. First, in this question, it is asked about opening a file. So opening a file must be opened before you can read from it or write to it. Either offstream or fstream is used. Ifstream object is used to open a file for reading purpose only. If you want to just read, you can use this also. Commonly, we are using the fstream object for all. Different modes of opening a file are mode and description is given. iOS, that is input output standard. In opens a text file for reading. If it is out, opens a text file for writing. These are the modes of operations. This important question. iOS truncates the contents before opening a file if file exists. That is, we know truncate. You can minimize the size and all. Somewhat similar to compress, or based on the space it is being cut and the waste portions are removed. That is all truncates. And iOS app opens a text file for appending. Appending means adding. Two files will be there. And suppose A file and B file are there. A is there and B is there. Right, two files are there. So at the end of A, you want to add B. That is, you are joining A and B. After A, where the A ends, B has to be started. So that is appending. You are mixing up two. That is to add text at the end. Next is ATE. Opens a file for output and move the read or write control to the end of the file. That is, the cursor will go to the end of the file. All these modes can be combined using bitwise or operator. That is, we know that is, in one thing you can do more than one things in a single statement. Suppose in and out you have to do in the same thing, means in, and you have to give the bitwise operator or operator. We know this. That is a pipe sign. And then you can write the other one also. So that is about this question. The fourth question is, write a C++ program for f of x is equal to 1 by 1 plus power POW, that is power of x comma 2, that is 1 by 1 plus x square, using trapezoidal rule. We have seen this in the revision class. This is an important question. This is a previous university question too. So here, include iostream.h, math.h, math function you have to include because POW is there. And then define this a question. If in the university question, this question is same, this is to be solved, means write over here, or else what question is being checked, being given, write that question here. And then int main, you know this, integration is there, step size k, int I subinterval. This we have studied detail in the revision class. See, stepwise upper minus lower divided by subinterval. Next next question is question number 5. Fit a straight line trend equation by the method of least squares from the following data and estimate the profit for the year 2005. Method of least square. So this table you are having, year is there and profit in lakhs is given. We have to enter the data in the table. We have to enter the profit, and this is capital X and this is capital Y. From that we have to calculate the deviation, since year is given, not the values. So you have to get the value. For that, capital X minus 1987.5. So that is the value. To find deviation X, find the middle value from the year list. Here no middle value, since the value of n is 6. Total 6 numbers are there. So value of n is 6. So correct half we cannot get. So for that we have to add these two values and then divide by you will get 1987.5. If a middle value 7 means a middle value you will get, take that value. So deviation is equal to x is equal to x minus 1987.5, capital X. Capital X, that is for the first calculation, 1975 minus 1987.5, you'll get minus 12.5 and you'll get this x square, this x, small x. X square you have to calculate and xy. And then all the sigmas you have to find. Sigma x, sigma y, sigma x square and sigma xy. So this is a formula for finding the straight line. This is a normal equation. Sigma y is equal to na plus b sigma x. Sigma xy is equal to a into a sigma x plus b sigma x square. So in the previous table, we have calculated all the values of sigmas. N is 6, we know. And after calculation, we got a as 18 and b as 0.697. Now this is a straight line equation. General form is y is equal to a plus bx. Substitute the value of a and b, you will get the answer. So this is how straight line equation can be formed. In the question it is given, we have to find the profit for the year 2005. That is also we have to find. So general equation is y is equal to a plus bx. A is 18 and b is 0.697. We got it before. And for this x, again we have to do this calculation, deviation calculation. So you'll get 17.5. Substitute over here, you will get 30.1975. So this is how straight line method can be done. Next question is, explain the finite difference method for solution of partial differential equation. This is also a university question. So for this, the finite difference solution for two-dimensional Laplace equation is dou square u by dou x square plus dou square u by dou y square is equal to 0, or uxx plus uyy is equal to 0. Here you have to write the method, how it is being done. So in this case, just write the formulas and all. That's enough. You have to draw this table. So for doing this, the region is divided into 16 small squares and boundaries we are naming as Ci, where I ranges from 1 to 16, and interior mesh points are there. 9 interior mesh points are there. They are named as U1, Ui, that is I ranging from 1 to 9. It's given clearly in the figure. This we have to learn. So these are the formulas for calculating. In the revision class, we studied how to remember these formulas also. So everything keep in mind and just write how that is being solved. So these are the formulas. Based on these formulas, go for the solution. So you'll get the values for U1, U2 up to U9, and we use iteration process to improve their accuracy. And the iteration process is known as Liebman's iteration procedure. This is the last question given in the question paper. Find the root of the equation x power 4 plus x minus 10 is equal to 0. Correct to 4 decimal places using iteration method. So this is the question you are having. X power 4 plus x minus 10 is equal to 0. Substitute the value 0 for x, 1 for x and 2 for x. When we substitute 0, you will get, that is 0 power 4 plus 0 minus 10. You will get negative value. And then when you substitute 1, you will get negative value. When you substitute 2 for x, you will get a positive value. So these are the ranges between which, that is f of 1 you got the negative value and f of 2 you got positive value. So you can write the root lies between 1 and 2. This is a way how you have to find that range where the roots can come. Now from this we have to get the value for g of x. See, g of x is equal to, from this I am taking x out. That is x is equal to 10 minus x power 4, right? So you can write 10 minus x, the whole power 1 by 4, and then you are finding the derivative of g of x, that is g dash of x, that is derivative of g of x. You are getting 1 by 4 into 10 minus x, the whole power, minus 3 by 4. So the only thing we have to check whether you are in the correct g of x, because g of x is the main thing from which we are coming to the answer. So we have to check whether the g of x which we found is correct or not. So for that, find the derivative of g of x, that is g dash of x, and check whether g dash of x will be less than 1. So here substitute any value for x. For all the values, this modulus of g dash of x will be always less than 1. That means the g of x which we have found, that is correct. So for starting the calculation, let's assume x as 2. x1 is equal to g of x0. This is the value of g of x. So x, instead of x we are writing x0, and in the place of x0 you are substituting the value 2. So 10 minus 2 the whole power 1 by 4, you will get this value, that is using the radian calculator. And then x2 is g of x1, you will get x2, g of x1 you will get x2, and then x2 will get 1.69827 for x3. x3 is g of x2, x4 is g of x3, x5 is g of x4. So you'll get, in our question it is given up to 4 decimal places you have to find the answer. So here 1.6974, see up to 4 decimal places, this is the value. Here also 0.6974, here also 0.6974. So you can write the real root is equal to 1.69747. So this is a way how this method, iteration method, can be used for solution. So here the 5 up to 5 decimal places I have calculated. So if up to 4 means you can finish it up over this x4, and you can write 1.6974. So this is all about the answers and how you have to write for the university question. All these are important questions, and almost all I took from the previous university questions, and hope this was clear for you. Thank you.